Hello everyone, my name is Liv and today I want to talk about the little things that I got on my trip to California. Just recently I went on my first trip to California and I had the best time. I got to see so many different things from Northern California to Southern California. I got to see so many great places and I got to make so many memories and I just loved the entire experience. If you want to see what I did on my trip to California, I will have all my vlogs out by the time this video is out so you can see everything that I did during my trip. But for this video, I want to show you the little things that I got during my trip to California. This is in no particular order, so it doesn't really follow the days of my California trip in chronological order. I'm just going to be grabbing random things and showing you them and where I got them and just explaining what I got. While I was in California, I got a couple of pins because I do love pins so much. So the first one that I got is actually one from San Francisco and it's super tiny and it is basically just the skyline of San Francisco and it says I left my heart in San Francisco. I got this right before my Alcatraz tour. The next pin that I got was at Disneyland and it's those pins that you get if you are like celebrating really big moments in Disneyland. So the one that I got is my first visit to Disneyland because I have never been to California before, I've never been to Disneyland before, and I was able to get one of these pins and I love it so much because I've always wanted kind of like a commemorative pin from Disney, so now I have it. Sorry about the birds chirping if you hear that in the video. They're like right outside my window. They just live right outside my window and they are so loud and they woke me up this morning and they're just obnoxious. So if you hear that, I apologize. Another pin that I got from Disneyland is actually from Downtown Disney and it is the little Steamboat Willie pin and I really like it because I love Steamboat Willie and I think he's really cute and I always want to get Disney pins whenever I go to Disney just to remember that specific trip. So I got this one for this trip. The next thing is not a pin but it's kind of similar and it is patches and I got this during my Warner Brothers studio tour and it is two patches, one of the Batman symbol and one of the Wonder Woman symbol, and I love them so much and I cannot wait to add them to a jacket or to jeans. I just love patches, I love collecting them, so I'm glad to add this to my collection. I also got a bunch of postcards from California from different locations. I got one from the Warner Brothers studio tour, I got a couple from San Francisco, and I also got one from Alcatraz. I just like collecting postcards either for my journal or for my door where I hang up different postcards. The next thing that I got is probably my favorite thing from my entire trip. I am so happy that I got this and I took so many pictures with it. I was carrying it around all day and it is a mini BB-8. I got this at the concession stand at Disneyland and you can actually use it as a cup and I had it as a cup and it comes with a straw but I took the straw out because I simply just wanted BB-8 as BB-8 and not as a cup. But you can unscrew BB-8, put drinks inside, but I'd rather just keep BB-8 as a little BB-8 rather than a cup and I'm obsessed with this. The detailing in this BB-8 is adorable. They are covered in dirt, it's all scratched, and it's just so much attention to detail and I love it so much and I love the compact little size because I could put it on my shelf and it won't take up too much room. But this is probably my favorite thing that I got during my trip to California. The next thing that I got is an old movie because I happened to come across a thrift store and I was looking at the movies because I know in thrift stores the movies are really cheap and they're also usually very old movies, and I found a movie that I've been looking for months. I've been searching on Netflix, on Amazon, online, everywhere, and I cannot find this movie to stream, and when I found it on DVD I had to get it and I'm so glad I picked it up, and it is The Trial. The Trial is a book to movie adaptation of Franz Kafka's The Trial, and if you do not know what that is about, it is a story about a man who wakes up one day and police are surrounding his bed and they say he's under arrest, and the whole entire book is him going on trial for a crime he does not know that he committed. They do not tell him what crime he committed and basically the whole movie is him being on trial for something that he does not know that he did. So I am so excited to see this, not only because the plot sounds amazing and Franz Kafka's books are also amazing, but also Orson Welles directed it, and Orson Welles is a really great director and I'm very excited to see how this movie plays out, and I'm so glad I was able to find this because I cannot find it streaming anywhere. It is so rare to find, so now I have it on DVD. The last few things from my California haul are of course books. While I'm on vacation, I still have to buy books because I'm always on the lookout for great deals. The first three books that I got were from The Ripped Bodice, which is a romance bookstore, and I love it. I've heard so many things about it, and I've seen so many pictures on Twitter, and I'm so glad I was able to actually go to The Ripped Bodice and see it with my own eyes, and it was the most adorable bookstore I've ever been to. I loved it so much, and I got 3 books from there because I had to support this indie bookstore, and they are all romance books because you can't not get romance books from a romance bookstore. So the first one that I got is Wicked and the Wallflower by MacLean. Everyone on Twitter is raving about this book. I literally don't know what it's about, but I trust so many people on Twitter who said they love this book and they said that I should read it, so I had to pick it up. All I really know about this book is there is a marriage of convenience and it's super steamy and everyone is raving about this, so I had to see this book for myself. The next book is a part of a series I've been reading and loving so much, and this is the 3rd book in the series, but they could all kind of be read on their own, and it is Hurts to Love You by Alisha, and I love her writing. She is such a phenomenal romance author who has such diverse characters and such amazing plot lines, and I am so excited to read this book because it is about a girl who falls in love with her brother's best friend. I love that trope. I think it's so great. The drama that always comes along with that trope is amazing. I can never get tired of it, and I like how people switch it up with their own writing when they use this type of a trope. I'm so excited to read this, and I love Alisha Ray's writing so much, and oh, you have to read her books. The 3rd book that I got at The Ripped Bodice, I was walking around and I was browsing the books and I looked over at this book and I'm like, I need it, even though I've already read this book, even though I already have another copy. I need this because this is one of my favorite books of 2018, and it is the paperback cover of The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by Jenkins Reid. The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo is about a woman named Evelyn Hugo who is recounting her entire life and her famous 7 marriages to this up-and-coming journalist. She is giving her life story in the most raw and unfiltered way to this journalist, and she's explaining how she became Evelyn Hugo, and it's basically centered around old Hollywood. There's scandals, the main character is Cuban. It's such a good book. I enjoyed it so much, and when I saw the paperback cover of this book, I'm like, oh, I need it because I love this cover just as much as I love the hardback cover. I needed to add it to my collection because this is one of my favorite books of all time. The next book that I got it when I was visiting Hannah, who is a clockwork reader on YouTube, and her town was so adorable and it had a cute little indie bookstore, so I'm like, oh, let's go look at the bookstore and let's go like browse a little. And then while we were walking around her little bookstore, I saw a signed copy of A Reaper at the Gates, and I needed it because 1, it's signed, and 2, I have been marathoning this series, and this is the 3rd book in this series, and I really wanted to get it because I want to continue with it before I forget the plotline again, because that's what happened with the 1st book. I completely forgot what it was about, so I had to reread it, and then I read the 2nd book. And now I have the 3rd, and it is signed. It's gigantic, the cover is beautiful, and I'm so glad I picked this up. I could have gotten this anywhere else in the world. It wasn't like specifically for California, but I had to get it while I was there. It was a must. I couldn't just let it go. And the last thing that I got, my dad actually got it for me when we were on the Warner Brothers Studio Tour, and it is a Warner Brothers Studio Tour booklet type of thing, so it explains the history of the Warner Brothers Studio, which is my favorite production company. Everyone should have a favorite production company. That's my favorite one. They make the best movies and the best shows. So, my dad got me this because he knew I loved Warner Brothers so much, so I cannot wait to read this and see the history behind Warner Brothers. The tour was so amazing. It was everything I wanted and more. I saw so many of my favorite things from my favorite movies and my favorite shows, and I was just like fangirling so hard. So I am so excited to look through this and see the little things that I missed on the tour, and I'm just very excited that I have this in my hands. So those are all the things I got on my trip to California. I had such a fun time in California, seeing all the different things and meeting a bunch of different people and like just going on tours. It was such an amazing experience, and I love everything that I got to remember the trip, and I just had so much fun. So if you have not seen my vlogs for California, you should definitely go watch those because they're full of cute memories and cute moments, and I loved it so much. It was such an amazing vacation. So thank you so much for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe, and I will see you in another video. Bye!